produce a global citizen that will compete in the 21st century, you have to give them those skills to compete globally. You see Spanish and French everywhere, but our students need to be fluent in Mandarin 1 and Mandarin 2.
Well, and Mandarin is the Chinese language.
Yes, Mandarin is the Chinese.
And how many, do you know how many alphabet letters do they have, or is they called characters?
They do call them characters, but I don't know how many actually. Do you know?
No, I have no.
We can Google that.
how many characters, you know, I have a language myself one day. I'll share it with you, you know what I mean? They have some characters in, and I was just wondering how many do they have and everything, you know.
Yeah. Mandarin is new for me as well, so I will be learning with the students. I'm very excited about that.
Wow. And who's the teacher that's going to ask you to teach it?
Her name is Harmony Waldron. She's a very exciting teacher. She's very familiar with making learning real. So when she did her demo lesson, she brought in a lot of outside resources, and she talked a lot about recycling, even in the Chinese language. So she's an awesome teacher.
We talked a little bit today about the ESL class.
Yes.
Is that actually a class or a course?
Yes. ESL is actually a service that you provide to students that are eligible, that are non-English language speakers at the time. So what happens with ESL is when our students come in, they get a survey, the family gets a survey, and that survey asks, what is your home language, are you fluent in this home language, et cetera, et cetera. And the homeroom teacher, after taking a look at that survey, evaluates the students based on how they communicate in class. If they're in need of ESL services, we contract with a company called the Middlesex Education Commission Services, and they will come in and provide ESL, special education, etc., to students that are in need.
Wow, okay. So you basically going to let anybody that come that can fill out the application, they're on their way, they're welcome at Barack Obama Green High School.
Yes, they are.
And have you had a supporter at all from the White House?
Sure.
You know, of course, I'm not going to let the show go by without asking.
We're working our way up to the White House. If you have not heard already about our supporters, George Clinton has just endorsed the school and donated his master's over to the school so that we constantly get funding based on when his songs are played and when they're sold.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cornell West also officially endorsed the school. If any of you were at our benefit dinner at Bernie's house, Councilman Rashid Bernie's house. And in terms of governmental support, of course, our wonderful mayor supports us. Cory Booker supports us as well.
Cory Booker is the mayor of Newark, New Jersey.
Yes, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, Mayor Palmer, who is down in Trenton. And then we also have a member from Congress who is the New Jersey representative supporting us. Assemblyman Green is a supporter as well, and the list goes on. But we have not been able to tap into the White House. We're still trying from all angles, and I'm sure that by our ribbon cutting, we will get someone down there.
And when is your ribbon cut?
It's in October. We want to have it in September, but we're going to have to push it back.
I'd like to be there if I can and cover it and everything, and just see
Absolutely.
where you guys. It would be nice to be there to see the ribbon being cut and everything at that time.
Sure.
You guys would be on your way into the year.
Yes, we will be on our way. We thought it was important to have the students there as well. I mean,
Sure.
they're a big part of this, and that's been that missing link all along because they haven't been registered yet. But now that they're registered and their families are ready to go, we want them to be a part of the ribbon cutting.
Wow. And okay, so the students that's already enrolled and they're guaranteed a seat in September, how are you guys dialoguing at this point with their parents and everything? Are their parents a part of it also?
Absolutely. We have a service, and I'm not going to say requirement because we don't remove the students if our parents don't participate, but I'll say we have a suggested service initiative, which means that every parent of a student here has to give 4 hours of community service. So the parents from the beginning are building community with us. They are coming to the parent-teacher conferences, the parent-student orientation, the uniform fittings, the preparing for financial aid workshops, the first day of school, back-to-school night, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. Parents are looking for those opportunities to get involved because they know that we need to have those 4 hours documented to make sure that they've seen us at least 4 times throughout the entire year. So our parents have been excellent in doing that. They all are down with the philosophy, and they've been coming in on a frequent basis.
I heard the other day, I don't know how true it is, that there was a school up in Montana, state of Montana, talking about the kids and their health, eating healthy and things of that nature. Would that be taught also? In fact, they graded the kids on size and things of that nature. So how are your school working if this is part of the green? Shouldn't that be part of the green project also?
It is. It is. I'm a little torn as it pertains to giving students grades for their health and
Sure.
their sizes. But I can say that being a green school, talking about sustainable food is important. Organic foods, homegrown, locally grown foods is a big piece of the curriculum as well, and that's heavily discussed in our health class. Furthermore, our lunch program is not an average lunch program. It is an organic lunch program.
Wow.
We use a provider called Revolution Foods. Revolution Foods is a regular lunch provider, and they use organic fruits and vegetables in order to supply to their schools. This was a very important piece of our curriculum to not only talk the green talk, but also walk the green walk and talk about childhood obesity and what students are being exposed to now and here in our city, and we're trying to battle that with a very healthy lunch program.
Okay, what about in terms of computers? In your school, will all the kids have access to the web?
Yes, we have we call it a rolling laptop program. So what happens is we wanted to have enough funding so that every student would take a laptop home, but you know, there were some debates
Sure.
amongst everyone. What if they break it, and how are they going to pay for it,
Sure.
and what if they don't bring it back? And
Right.
so what we did was we did make sure that there is a laptop on site for a student to access at any time. What's going to happen is the cart will roll from class to class, and students will be able to have their laptop hour of that day where they can truly take advantage of technology in the classroom.
Because technology is becoming, to the listening audience, such a great part of who we are going to be and who we're evolving into. You know, I was reading in Popular Science magazine today how they are building robots to aid a lot of our elders, you know. And also our sick kids, people that's born with sicknesses. Instead of worrying about your sister caring for you, whatever, you have a robot that would actually help lift you, or you know what I mean? A robot that will lift your chair and everything, or even just a robot as a friend, you know. And I know some of us are thinking, well, I don't want no robot. Well, you can depend on the robot. You know what I mean? It's hard to depend on little brother, little sister, or your son or your daughter. You can depend on the robot. The robot will be there, you know, actually programmed. And they're working hard. You know, I just wonder why so many times that we seem to miss the mark of this technology. You know, I run around with my video camera, and so many people are doing outstanding work in the community, shy away from the web.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want the web. They don't want the YouTube. They don't want that. And I have so much of a problem with that. And I try my best. I say, you know, this is a way to put the history in a package where people can look back at it, or people see it. I mean, we have so much competition today with negativity that we need all that we can get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we can see someone on the internet and everything, on YouTube, or whatever, doing something positive, we can go back to that 3 months from now. It's not lost, you see. And I'm having such a hard.
And I want to piggyback on that and say something to our parents. Facebook is okay.
Exactly.
It has to be monitored. It has to be monitored. We don't want your 12, 11, 10-year-old children on Facebook and you just let them run amok. But it's a professional way now to network.
Sure.
There are schools, there are businesses, there are companies, there are professionals on there, and if it's done the right way,
Sure.
it will definitely be beneficial to your child. We don't want to hold them back from that. We want to give them the tools that they need to make smart choices, and we want to give them the guidance that they need to be able to succeed. But taking it away, it sometimes doesn't help, because then they miss the mark and they're not as advanced as they need to be.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up about Facebook for the young, but I really wasn't talking about them. I was talking about those like 38 on up. I'm having a hard time convincing them on the web, you know, and on the social media. And, you know, they talk about all kinds of things that are being said, but now no one has to know that your feet itch unless you tell them now. You know what I mean? You don't have to type that in there. You understand? I mean, you know, you have to type your feet itch. You know what I mean? You know, or your son didn't bring your car back home. That's up to you. You know, it's whatever you put there. You know, and you know, these things are not here to rip you off or anything. There's a communication tool today. You know, and I'm sorry to say that haven't brought no stamps in about 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? Because everything is paid over the web or whatever. I can send a message to my sister in Virginia right by the web. You know what I mean? You know, keep in contact with everybody. You know.
Absolutely.
So we, you know, we have to also